Hello and welcome to my video diary. It's been so long. It's been over a month, I think, since I've made an episode. Actually, I know. I just have a lot going on, and so I was not really motivated to record. I feel like I recorded a bunch all at once, and I kind of burned myself out. My dog's down here. You probably can't see him, but that's what I'm doing and petting him. I recorded so many and I talked about so many different things that I think I kind of burned myself out and was over it for a few weeks. And then I just didn't really have a whole lot that I wanted to talk about. But I realized that this is really helpful for me. It's almost like a version of soundboarding. I think I've said this before. Soundboarding for a mental projector in human design is sort of bouncing your words off another person's aura. So you're supposed to do it one-on-one in the physical with another person. But myself and some of my other human design friends have all experimented with soundboarding this way, and also like in a Zoom call when you can see the other person. That is really helpful for me to see the other person when I'm trying to soundboard. And it's not the same as being in aura, and I know it's not traditional soundboarding, but this is very therapeutic to me. So fuck all the that's not correct language or blah blah whatever. This is what we're doing here. So what do I've got going on? Well, let's see. I kind of shifted my guidance. As a projector, I'm here to guide, and I've been trying to figure out how that looks. And as a third line profile, it's a lot of trial and error. Lots and lots of, should I do it like this or maybe this? And that can feel very disconcerting, like everything you're picking is wrong or all the ideas that you have aren't good. But really, as the third line, we have to go through them all to get to the one that works. And more often than not, it's not the first try that we hit the nail on the head. Although I do have to say that a lot of times when I try a baking recipe in particular for the first time, it comes out better than any other time that I make it, which is very frustrating. But I don't think it has anything to do with human design. I think it's just life. And the first time you try something, I think maybe I really pay attention more to the recipe, or really trying to go exactly to the recipe. And then after that, maybe I wing some stuff. I don't know. But yeah, that's normally what happens. Anyway, so back to my business, which was feeling very like, what is this thing? You know, when I first started it, I just wanted to share human design with the masses. I just wanted to read for people. I needed your birth information. This is your chart, and I'm going to read it to you. And it was really fun, and I really got a lot of confidence from people saying, "Hey, you're great at this, and they've helped me so much. So thank you for doing this," and all that kind of stuff. And introducing people to human design that still use it now and still practice it today has been one of the best parts of it, besides what human design has done for me personally. But I don't know, it started to feel like I was just spewing out stuff that I knew about human design and not really giving any sort of guidance. And a lot of traditional human design practitioners suggest that if you are a reader, a human design reader, you just want to give them the facts. You just want to tell them their design and let them live it and let them figure it out. And that's all you do, and that's that. And when I first started my business, like, that's all I wanted to do was go, here's your stuff, bye, I'll talk to you later. And while it still feels correct for me to not hold someone's hand or have like a 6-week intensive coaching program with a syllabus and all this other stuff, like, that's not really me, it's too involved. I realized I did want some sort of further connection with people, but I didn't trust myself yet. I didn't trust that I had anything to give besides this is what the Heart Center means. This is what Gate 29 is. And oh, you're a 1-3 profile. That's what this is. And I felt like I was just giving out stuff that I knew from reading and researching. And that's all good, but I wanted to figure out how to do more without it becoming like everybody else's coaching program. Because as a 6 line, doing anything like everybody else is just annoying, and I don't want to. And it's taken me a long time to realize that that's okay. And just because I don't want to do things the way that a lot of other people do them, that doesn't mean it's not going to work. For me, that logically doesn't make sense, because if a large group of people are doing a certain thing a certain way and it works for them, whether or not it's working for them is up for debate. But if you ask them and they say, yes, this is how I brew my coffee, and this is how everybody should brew their coffee, and then everybody else goes, yep, this is how I do it, this is how I do it, it's the same, it's all the same, and we love it, so you should do it this way too. Logically, for me, that makes sense. All these people have tested this theory, they like it this way, so that's the best way. That's how I felt until I realized I'm supposed to be part of the test group. As a 3rd line, I'm supposed to be in there going, I'm going to try it this way and see if I like brewing my coffee this way. Or maybe I want tea, or, I'm a big tea drinker. I have recently gotten into iced lattes though, because now it's summer and it's hot and I like iced lattes. So yeah, I realize that it's okay to kind of not do it the way that everybody else is doing it, but also to have no idea how I'm doing it and to just move forward. So from that has come Janelle Turner Guidance, which is a revamp of my website, first of all, janelleturner.net, go check it out. But also a focus on my intuitive energy and my guidance and what I have to bring to the table as far as support and transformation, and giving you more possibilities than you think you had, more directions to go than you realized were there for you. As I'm talking about it, I'm getting really excited just to think about it. But so that's now what I'm focusing on. Human design is still a huge part. It's a requirement. I still need your birth information for an unearthing session, which is the new session that I offer. And I really don't think I would have the tools that I've created for myself from my own gifts if I didn't have human design there as well, because it really helps me see much more clearly. And as a projector, we're here to see with an almost uncomfortable amount of clarity. So for me to get clear on the people individually, when I'm talking one-on-one to someone, human design is a must. It's a part of it. But my clients don't need to know anything about human design or care about human design or what's that. It doesn't matter. You don't need to know it. You don't need to see your chart. None of it. I am using that information to help guide my client. And if they're interested to know more about it, for sure, I'll share it with them. But if not, I will speak to them in terminology that they understand, in a way that they may not have been spoken to before, but still makes sense for them. Like projector, hey, what's your work schedule like? When do you go to sleep? When do you wake up? What are the things that you're doing in your day? And if you're like, well, okay, I get up at 5 a.m. and I have this, and I take my 3 kids to school, and then I work 8 hours, and then this. Oh, well, when do you rest? Well, what's rest? I sleep at night. That's rest. Mm-mm. So it's more like that. It's more, what do you do with your days? And how can we shift it so that you're having fun most of the time, you're smiling most of the time, you're enjoying life most of the time, and you're not taking it so seriously most of the time. I like to add the most of the time because I don't want this to seem like hearts and flowers and like everything is positive 100%, and you can't have any sort of negativity in your life. You can't feel, like not doing the things you're supposed to do. You can't feel like mad at somebody or bad or jealous or guilty or any of these things, Or maybe you have responsibilities and you're like, I don't want to do those responsibilities today. Cool. You probably have inconsistent energy anyway, so don't beat yourself up for not being your version of perfect, you know? So that's kind of what I'm focusing on now. I'm very excited about it. I have an ongoing client that I've been working with for a few months using this method. And I'm also giving little free sessions to my close friends and the people who have really supported me in my human design journey and people who are still super into human design. And I'm going to be sharing that too because I'm testing this thing. As a third line, I'm testing it. And that used to freak me out, like giving away stuff for free. I was like, no, I can't do that. I can't do a reading for free. And I was right. A full human design reading that takes me like 2 hours is exhausting. And I don't want to give that away for free. It's too much. And it's 2 hours in video with the person. But before that, it takes me like 45 minutes to an hour to put it together. Actually, probably less now. I've gotten much quicker and much more intuitive in my readings. So maybe half an hour, but still, it was absolutely exhausting. And to think about having to give that away for free so that I could have stuff to market with or share with other people, like, look, this is what it looks like. It was just a lot, and I didn't want to ever do it. But this thing, the unearthing sessions, are they're not as tiring, they're not as exhausting for me, they're not as energy zapping. I feel much better after them, and I think it's because I give much less. I'm more asking questions and following my client down wherever they're going. Let's follow you. I'll ask you a question, we'll see where you go. Okay, well, let's ask a question about this and let's see where we go. And that's more along the lines of what I'm doing. It's not a traditional coaching program. That's not my bag. It is basically one-off sessions, but if you purchase bundles of sessions, you also get me as Voxer support. Not 24/7, but you can ask questions 24/7. I will not answer you 24/7. I give myself boundaries when it comes to that stuff. But this is perfect because if we go a month between sessions, or it's actually 2 weeks, 2 weeks between sessions, you can ask me questions while you're living your life. Oh, Janelle, we talked about this the last time we spoke, and this is what's going on in my life right now. What do you think? Or listen to this awesome thing that's happened to me. Those are my favorite ones that I get, is when someone is like, hey, that thing that you said, I did it, I experimented with it, and it went well. It's, even if that person doesn't continue down that path, even if they're like, oh, this actually doesn't work for me, so I'm gonna go this way, just experimenting with things in your life and being objective and not taking everything so personally or really making things a bigger deal than they actually are, just kind of sitting on the outside of your life. This is a very sixth line thing for me to say, so it's probably not comfortable for everybody, but I've realized that when I'm talking about guidance, I'm talking about what I've done for myself. So these are the things that I've done for myself. And giving myself objectivity in my life has given me a lot of clarity. So it's a big one for me. Okay, so I'll shut up about my stuff in just a minute. If you're interested, it's called the Unearthing Session. It's $89, so it's very affordable, I think, and I'm pretty frugal, so. And it's an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, depending on how long we talk. And we just talk about what you've got going on in your life. We do talk about your human design, but not in a way that you need to know anything about it at all. And then we sort of go, hey, how do you want to spend your days? What do you want your days to look like? How do you want it to feel? That sort of thing is where we start off. And then if you're stoked to work with me more consistently, you can buy a bundle that's discounted as well. The discount is in the price. And it's 3 sessions, 2 weeks in between sessions. So if you buy a single and then a bundle, you'll work with me for 2 months, and there's no homework. There's no syllabus. We meet when we meet. You Voxer me when you want to talk to me. I Voxer you back. Sometimes I Voxer you unsolicited because I get excited with my clients and I go, oh my God, this person would love to hear about this, and this will relate to what we talked about last time. And then so it's a very much a back and forth, and I want it to feel that way, like an open forum, back and forth sort of chat to help facilitate your experiment. So if you're interested, you can always ask me questions, but I would just say book an unearthing session with me, and we can go through your questions. And so that's what I've been working on. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited that it's separate from human design. If you go to my website now, there's not a whole lot of human design-y stuff. Obviously, there's still Chatting Human Design, the podcast, Human Design Hot Topics, the podcast. Oh my gosh, that has been so fun lately. Rebecca and I have had a lot of fun recording our episodes. We've had some great guests. We have an amazing guest coming up. I'm not going to say who it is because it's not that I don't want to jinx it. We haven't scheduled it yet. We have talked about it, and this person has said, yes, let me get in contact with you to schedule. And that's what we're waiting for. So I'm very excited if this podcast happens. The first thing I thought was, oh my God, Rebecca, this is going to be so much fun for us. Like, I didn't even think about the audience, the Hot Topics audience, or the other people, or this particular guest's people, because they have a lot of people. I just thought about how much fun it would be for her and I. It's like, oh my God, Rebecca, this is going to be so fun for us. And I think that's why I enjoy doing the podcast so much, is because it is fun to share this all with you guys. And when you comment and say, this was such a great episode, or I learned this or that, it's awesome. But I just want to do it for myself. So hopefully we can get that scheduled in July is what we're looking at. This particular person seems much more organized with their very successful business than Rebecca and I. So I feel like if they say they want to do it and they're going to do it, they're doing it. Also, their particular energy type is if I start it, we're going to do it. I'm just not going to. I don't want to say it, the energy type, because then you'll probably know who it is if you're a human design nerd like me. Okay, so that has been awesome. I have new guests coming out for Chatting Human Design, which has been sporadic, but still fun. I like the way that I do it. I like that I don't invite people on, that I wait for people to be asked to be on, or I get podcast agents, because you can hire somebody to contact a bunch of podcasts and say, this person would be great, this person would be great, this person would be great. And I've said this before on here. At first I thought that was like, ugh, but then I realized, I'm like, this is an amazing invitation. Like, this little go-between person says, hey, what do you think about this guest? Oh, they know anything about human design? Yeah, okay, cool, they're on. Because that's really my only requirement for Chatting Human Design. And these people are ready to be on podcasts. They're trying to get on them. They want to talk. So, hey, I'd love to have you on. And I've met some really great people this way. And I think because I say, yeah, come on the podcast. Whoever these podcast agent companies are, they're like, Janelle will have these people on. And I get a lot of messages. There's only been a few where I've had to say no, because they literally don't know what human design is. It's not a part of their energy. Block this on a little bit. They're not familiar, which I'm not trying to discriminate, but you just have to know your aura type. That's if you just came on and were like, hey, I'm a generator. That's all I know. Great. I can do an entire podcast off of you knowing you're a generator and what you've got going on in your life. So yeah, that has been really fun. A lot of talking. I have some Instagram lives coming up. I want to be guests on a podcast so that I can talk about guidance for life, which is what the umbrella term for my sessions. The session is called an unearthing session, but the umbrella term for what I'm doing is called guidance for life. So that's the terminology I'll be throwing around. Okay. Otherwise, life has been really fun. The dogs have been great. Sean and I have been having a great time. We tried to go camping the other day, and it worked out really well for one whole day. And then the sun went down and it was just a nightmare. We got a new air mattress. We blew it up at home. We let it stay blown up for a few days, kept blowing it up because it said it stretched, and we didn't know what that meant, but we laid on it, both laid on it at home. It was wonderful. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so luxurious, because our mattress before was awful. And this thing, within like 30 minutes of us lying down, just deflated. I know it says it stretches, but how often do we have to like fill it up before we can actually take it somewhere and trust that it's not going to go? So we basically were sleeping on like a really crappy waterbed, because if anybody got up, that other person just sunk. And if that person came back in bed, whoop. And it rained, and it was cold. All night it rained. So the next morning, everything was soaked. The sky was gray. There was no sun. It was freezing cold. And we were just both like, ugh. Like, we didn't want to deal with it. The day before, we had had a whole great day out in nature. It had been really fun. And we just wanted to do that again. But the weather was not helping out. And if you're not prepared for rain, we're not that prepared for it, I'll be honest. It just sucks the whole fun out of the whole day. There's nothing to do. The dogs are disgustingly dirty and wet. There's no really place to put them so they don't get cold. Like, it was just like, ugh. So we left. We basically packed up all our stuff and left the next morning. We had like a good day of funness. And then I was like, I can't sleep on that mattress again, Sean. I can't. He's like, I know, I can't either. So we're trying to send it back. We don't have the box. He took it somewhere. He's like, Amazon, I can take it here, drop it off. I was like, but we don't have the box, like the actual box for the product. We just have this bed. So he's going to attempt to take the bed without the box and return it on Amazon. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, it really helped me to realize how much I love him and how much I have fun with him, even when stuff doesn't go the way we want it to go. And we had a really relaxing weekend, and we did a bunch of fun stuff when we got back. The next day was beautiful. Saturday was beautiful. So we did farmer's market and walks and coffee and all the stuff that we love to do. And it ended up being a really great weekend, even though we couldn't camp like we wanted to. I'm coming to realize that I enjoy what I call our day camping adventures, which is early in the morning, we go to a campsite. We have some food, we have some stuff to do, we put up our pop-up, we put up our hammocks, and we hang out all day. So from like 8 or 9 in the morning to like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, we have meals, we, wander around in the forest, we hang out with the dogs, we play domino, we read, yoga, all kinds of stuff. Just hang out. And there's no tent, there's no sleeping overnight in the cold and having to go out in the dirt and find a place to pee when it's pitch black. It's just not my favorite. It's really not. And don't get me wrong, if the weather had held and the bed had held, we would have stayed for sure, but it was just not. Like I said, I'm really starting to enjoy our day camping excursions because it's just much less to deal with, and we still have a lot of fun. And we don't have as much to clean. I did like 5 loads of laundry when we came home from that one day because everything got soaked. And we had to take our tent across to this big park and shake it out, and the tarp, and the dogs were disgusting. It was just, I was like, this is not worth it for 12 hours of fun in the wilderness. It just wasn't. So hopefully Sean is on board with me to do majority of day camps this year. I know he wants to camp again, and we will camp again. We actually want to camp with other people. We've only gone by ourselves and dogs. We've never camped with other people, and we do want to try that. We think it would be really fun. But it's really hard. Like our friends that we would camp with, there's a few couples that we would camp with, but our schedules are like, they just don't go together. So we'll see. We can barely hang out with them for a day. So it's like, we'll see how that will work. But day camp, I feel like, is where it's at. So that was fun. I guess the last thing I'll talk about is the restaurant, because I don't really want to talk about it, but I might as well, because it's part of my life. It's actually, the other day I was standing, there's this little spot where if you go off the patio, you can like go down these stairs and go to the left, and you kind of are staring at this little tiny man-made pond, and there's a geese and shit. And it's nice. And I go down there every once in a while, just kind of get away from the noise and the people and everything that's going on and just take a breath. I purposely tell myself, don't look at your phone, because that's not what that spot's for. It's for, so that's another little tidbit. Like, find little parts of your life. If it's a routine, if you got day 5 especially, routines can be very calming, and like, for you, that's how I feel about it anyway. It's part of the sacral, so it can really make you feel like connected to the earth and to life and all that kind of stuff. So I was standing down there, and I felt a lot of gratitude towards the restaurant, even though I hate that place and I hate that job and I don't want to have to do it for money. It's been my job for about 9 years, and that whole time I've consistently been able to pay for my life. We were able to upgrade to a larger apartment. I work less now. I only work 3 days, and that's because of the amount of money that I can make there consistently. And I wanted to make sure I felt gratitude for it. But it also sort of felt like a weird temporary feeling of like, you should have gratitude for this because it's not going to be here for very much longer, which freaks me out, but also is awesome at the same time, you know? So, yeah, it's been, and everybody's noticed it's been, we had a manager quit. One of the main good kitchen guys is being promoted to one of the owner's different restaurants. And everybody, it's funny because I feel like I've been noticing this for months and months, and everybody else was kind of on this like, oh yeah, everything's gonna be cool. As soon as summer starts, it's gonna be amazing. And I was like, okay. And now everybody is talking about it and coming up to me. Everybody's attitude has changed. This place is blah, la, la, la. Other stuff, and I don't want to say specifically because I think that I've mentioned where I work, so I don't want to like badmouth this place, but other parts of the restaurant are not doing very well, as well as they used to, and that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I've been doing okay. It's just felt very chaotic whenever I go in there, even if we're not busy, even if we're dead, which has been a lot of the time. It's just like, it feels, the energy is just like angry and chaotic and it's crappy. And I feel super tired after one shift, you know, like I feel like my whole body just needs traction after one shift. I'm so sore. My legs, oh my God, my legs feel like they're made of cement and I can't like pick them up. It's so weird because it didn't used to be this way. And I know I'm getting older. I turned 40 this year, so that's part of it. But it feels very much compounded, I think, because of the clarity I have now on what I'm here to do. And it's not this. In fact, I'm not here to do anything. I'm here to guide. So it's just this whole back and forth and push-pull, I think, has really been exhausting my system as well. So that's part of it. I don't want to leave on a bleh note because the restaurant is bleh. But I'll say I've been really having a great time. Like, finally it's summer. It's actually been cooler than it normally is. It's like at least 10 degrees, if not more, cooler today than it was this day last year. I remember when we were in July, I was sweating like buckets and we had the air on all the time. And lately it's been nice and cool outside. It's been raining a lot more, but it's been cool. So it has been kind of really nice. So I have been really having a lot of fun and really enjoying my life. And things are not moving as fast as I would want them to, or perhaps in the exact direction I would want them to, but that's life, you know, it's what we're doing. And I feel like I've been focusing a lot on the wrong things, namely money. And I'm really trying to pull my focus to the stuff that I find fun. I'm trying to do what I would guide others to do in Guidance for Life. I thought I was doing it, but I'm really trying to like jump into it now. So yeah, I think I'll end it there. Thanks for listening to me talk. If you have questions, comments, let me know. I will see you guys when I see you.